Hello, hello, and welcome to the first episode of Talkin Tuesdays. I'm here with Monique Bonanno from Bonanno's Bagels,
Hey guys.
and we're just going to ask her a few questions and just have a little casual talk.
Love this.
So, first of all, I want to hear a little bit more about your background because I know it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. So let me see how I can dumb this down in about 2 minutes. I guess the short response is my dad was a chef growing up, so I always worked in the kitchen. If you're an OG Sarasota person, Burdines, which was Macy's at Southgate Mall or no, Sarasota Square Mall, had restaurants, and my dad was executive chef. So as a kid, I'd wear a cute little chef hat, and I would do sampling at at 6 years old, and I loved it, and I was always good at cooking. But I don't think I really got into culinary until my dad owned a deli. So it's now a Speedway, but it was a Hess gas station on Washington where Popeyes is. It is
Okay.
downtown. So my dad did a gourmet deli concept, and that's when I learned at 13 how to be in a kitchen. I would work 40-hour work weeks, which was
Wow.
allowed as a chef kid. And it was such a joke. Like people were hanging out with their friends and going to sleepovers while I was working in the kitchen. So it's pretty
Classic.
funny. Yeah, classic kid. Yes. So I was really good at it by 16. I was running my dad's deli. He would do, errands, business errands, go in the bank, going shopping, and I would just run the deli. And so I was good at it, but I was going to be a lawyer. So I pivoted, was tired of writing 30-page depositions, reading 400 pages a night
Oh my
at University of
gosh.
Florida. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, I came home for spring break and I became obsessed with wedding planning and Disney fairy tale weddings. And I just thought I would be a Disney fairy tale wedding event planner. Didn't end up getting it. My friend did, but that's okay. I went to Southwest.
Oh,
There was only two spots, which is crazy.
oh my
But the
gosh.
craziest part about all of that is when I lived in Chicago, um, I met the girl that got my spot. And it was a funny story. Met her at a random influencer event. She happened to know my friend. I realized we were the same age, and I was like, "So you must be the person that got my internship." And it was this funny joke, and we're really good friends right now.
I would love that.
Yeah, she's a realtor now, so it's actually super funny. But yep, decided that I was going to be a wedding planner, and that's what I did. And I pivoted, and I switched my degree to event management. And I was like, "Wow, I'm actually good at this, and I don't have to be $200,000 in debt and try to make partner." So I sold meal plans in undergrad, and that's how I got to working in Aramark, working at college universities, running their dining program.
Nice.
Yep. So sold meal plans, got in operations, learned how to run Chick-fil-A's and Starbucks and all this stuff. And then I moved to Chicago to work at Loyola, and was in Chicago for almost 8 years. And then COVID hit. So I was unemployed for 2 years, and I ended up going to work for a chef in Atlanta. And so I learned a lot more about business. It was super stressful, but I opened up five concepts for her in a year and a half,
Wow.
which was crazy opening.
Sounds crazy.
It was, and it was in three different cities. And so it was insane going from Atlanta to Birmingham to Mobile, and I was just in this triangle. And it was ruthless, but it was unmanageable, manageable. But I got to learn how to private chef for a lot of celebrities. We did a book signing for Jeezy at the Atlanta airport. I co-packed a product for Angela Simmons, which is in Sugar
Wow.
Factory, and learned a lot about not only restaurant management but also co-packing. So all of the dry ingredients you see on shelves, at Publix's and different stores, or how do you design a product and actually get it into a grocery store. And I learned all of that. So
That is so
it's
cool.
really cool. So learning, how case counts work at Whole Foods and how you pitch your brand during category reviews, and every grocery store is on a different category review. So, if you have a seasoning or you want to do a dry grits, well, Whole Foods may be in December, but Publix could be in January. And working with food brokers to pitch your product into the stores, but also doing trade shows as well. And that side I really liked. I loved doing the private chef, but as you can imagine, one person, being an assistant, being an operations manager, running the show, being someone else's brain, I I hit stress level really fast. No time off for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
That's
It,
insane.
it was insane. It was fun. Some days, flying to Phoenix and doing a party for the owner of Lolo Chicken and Waffles, which is one of the biggest restaurant concepts in Phoenix, and Music Soul Child is like playing at a house. And so sometimes it's like pinching me, like, wow, am I literally in this beautiful mansion cooking and Music Soul Child's like performing in like literally their backyard? So it was cool, but then it was sad because I couldn't experience all this with my friends. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, yes, it's fun, and we're on a flight here, and we're going to New York, and we're going to Vegas, we're doing all these things. I couldn't really enjoy it with anybody. So it was kind of lonely at times. So at that point, I said I really need to pivot. I've learned a lot. I've opened restaurants. I've worked in corporate for 14 years. I've run business dining, and I've run higher education, and I've opened several university accounts. So I decided November 2023 I was going to quit my job, and I came home on a one-way ticket. Shout out to my friends at Southwest who got me a buddy pass. And I just decided that I was going to come home. So my friend's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "I'm going to buy a food truck, I guess. I'm going to help
That
you."
is so neat.
Yes. So that's kind of what this happened. I helped my friend on her food truck. I did a lot of events. And from all of that, I ended up buying my truck that you see now, which is Bananas Bagels.
So
Yeah.
that leads me to my next
Yeah.
question, which is, so you got the food truck.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to start something new.
Mhm.
What made you go into like coffee and bagels? Like, of all the things you could do,
Yeah.
what made you steer into the coffee and bagel route?
So the interesting part was I wasn't going to do bagels. That actually was not part of the plan at all.
Oh, what?
It was supposed to be just coffee, and it was going to be called Dreamy Brew Cafe. So that was the brand I had, quote unquote, when I was helping my friend on her donut truck. So my best friend, who used to be the operation managers for the chef I was working for, she opened a mini donut truck called Chicks and Donuts. Sorry guys, unedited. We're live here. Okay, sorry, phone's going off. Busy, busy
Live.
businesswoman. Okay,
We
and
love to hear it.
we love to hear it. So she was like, "Hey, I don't know the coffee realm. Do you want to like grab that espresso machine and join me on my truck?" So I said, "Sure. What else am I gonna do?" So I said, "I don't have a job. I quit my job. I haven't had vacation in 2 years. I've been unemployed for two before that." So like it was like 2020 to 2024 was just like this crazy roller coaster. So I was like, wow, I know coffee sells. I've opened Starbucks and, universities. But when it's your own and you start to see the money coming in and seeing like people are just as obsessed with caffeine as you are, there's money in this, right? And you see the people on TikTok doing all this, but it's like, it's not as easy as it always looks,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But anyways, I was like, wow, this is actually working. So we did all these events. We're like, okay, if we work from 6 in the morning to 10 at night, double events every day, 5 to 7 days a week, I should be able to garnish enough cash to buy the truck. So Dreamy Brew was a decision. So I came home. Now the food truck is here. That's May of 2024. Food truck's in Sarasota. It's at my house. Gotta do coffee. Well, I start going to all the farmers markets. I start seeing pop ups, and I realized there's a lot of coffee, but and I was already gonna sell bagels. Like my whole man was like donuts and bagels, donuts and croissants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bake them. I was gonna get a baker because I'm a chef. But I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna like do that. Well, I realized if I only do coffee, I was like, first off, now the coffee trucks are doing food.
Right.
So they're leaving a lot of opportunity on the table. But if I do coffee, I'm never going to get into any markets because once coffee trucks are in a market, no one's leaving. They kind of dominate that space. So I was telling my friend, I was like, well, I was going to already sell bagels. So, well, what if you just switch it? Like, what if you do bagels and coffee? And I'm like, okay. Well, in New York, you get just as good of a bagel as you get iced coffee, right? It's iconic. You know that.
Oh,
You go to
yeah.
New York, you get a bacon, egg, and cheese. I'm like, but I can't do bacon, egg, and cheese. Like, is that going to be a problem? I'm like, how can you open up a New York bagel truck, call yourself a New York bagel truck, and not sell bacon, egg, and cheese? I was nervous about it, stressed, to be honest. I didn't know how this was going to work.
Sounds like a dilemma.
It was like a low key dilemma. So I knew that between the process of like having the truck here and starting to plan every day, I went to EatsCon in Chicago. And that's when I was introduced to the amazing pop up bagels. And that's where the light went. So I'm in this line, and now the buzz of pop up is starting. Oh my god, you should pause that. I'm literally gonna pause my phone. That's enough for. Hold on.
Hold on.
Sorry. That's actually going to be really funny.
Please pause for a commercial break.
Commercial break
Brought to you by May Reed Mercantile.
where you can shop local. Yes, we're not sponsored, but we hope that what is this called? Talk Tuesday.
Oh, Talkin Tuesday.
Talkin Tuesday will then have sponsorships. Okay. Anyways, so okay, so yeah, I go to EatsCon, and that's when pop up starts to get this buzz, right? You're like, this bagel shop, they're getting all these like influencer collabs, but not just like local influencers. I mean, we're talking about like Oreo, we're talking about like Haley Bieber, all these folks,
Oh,
right?
snap.
And I was like, dang. So I really went to EatsCon. Well, I went to see my best friend in Chicago, wanted to go home, summertime try. But really, I was like, okay, let me go there. And then my favorite coffee shop from LA, Minoides, was there. So I go and I'm like, that line for a pop up is insane. It's insane. It was so long. But I'm like, wow, they're moving fast. They have decided, they're like the Chick-fil-A of bagels as far as speed goes.
Oh, love that.
Right? So it's a long line, but you're probably waiting 10 minutes max. Right? So I'm like, okay, this is cool. They have this bag. They only give you four options. It's only bagels and schmear. So now my chef brain and operation brain shuts on. I'm like, we are literally at an outdoor festival in Chicago, thousands of people. They literally have two induction burners with two big skillet pots, like this big, and they're flipping bagels. They're pushing the bagels that are rolled already, right? They're proofed and rolled out of the fridge. They're kettle boiling and they're doing piping hot bagels fresh to order. I'm like, this is insane.
Ooh.
So then I got to thinking, so people can just do bagels and schmear. Like, huh. So I said, okay, well, I can be different because we already have bagel shops and they take care of that. So what's going to make me different? Like, that market's already taken care of, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Locks and Eggs, now you can go to Buddies, you can go to Jersey Girls, you can go to a lot of great places, but I was like, I need to be a little different. Plus, I'm in a 5x8 space. And that's just what got the gears turning. And so that's when to my family, what were we going to call it? So then we were like, well, call it, Bagels and Brews, which is actually funny. Now there's one in Sarasota. It's a good thing I didn't
That's
call it
so
that.
funny.
That was what I was going to go with.
Oh my gosh.
But then I was like, oh, what if people think it's like bagels and beer and I don't have beer, right?
Mm.
So, and then I saw there was already trademarked or different things. There was multiple on Instagram. So my friend's like, well, you're Italian. You went to New York Bagel. Your dad was a chef. He's now passed. You're like kind of like throwing his legacy. You're coming back to your hometown. Why don't you call it Bonanno's Bagels? And I was like, that's it. That's the concept.
That's so good.
Right? So I was supposed to get this baby wrap the following day. I think my best friend and I were on the phone page till like, this is like midnight. She works in the nightclub space. So when I'm getting out to Big Bagels at 4 a.m., she's ending her evening and I'm starting my day. And that's when we talk. Yeah. So true entrepreneurs over here. It's crazy. I'm like, you're talking to your best friend at like 3:45, 4 a.m. when you're starting your day and she's literally ending her night and like counting down her door and like counting inventory. And it's like, we're just chatting and I'm like, wow, this is genius. So I was supposed to get this wrap the next day. So I'm sending like a frantic email at like 3 in the morning, like production is halted. Brand is not Dreamy Brew. I'm not doing just coffees. Everything's at a stop, which is
Oh
crazy.
my gosh.
So my best
Just like
friend halt to
pause.
everything. Everything. So I knew it was gonna push me at least like 30 days. And like luckily I did not pull my LLC yet. Because I was still like on the title. I was like, Jimmy Berry is cute, but it was like such concept number one. And it was just like a concept idea, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if that was gonna like really stick. So thank God I didn't pull the LLC because I've been a nightmare. I've been stuck with it in a sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because like who's gonna spend the time to like do all that paperwork? So my best friend was like, "You're kidding," because he drove the trailer down because I could not drive a trailer, nor did I know how to reverse it. When I first had it, it was not easy, guys. Could not reverse my trailer for like 7 months, literally. And so he was mad, like he was big mad, like you would do this, you would change the idea, you would do everything. And I'm like, I'm gonna draw the design, I'm gonna doodle it, I'm gonna put up on Canva, I'm gonna get the specs, I'm gonna do everything. I went through 15 drafted drawings. 15. He was so
Oh
annoyed.
my gosh.
kind of OCD. But we got here. I knew like I couldn't find like mock-ups like on Pinterest. So like I knew I had like my bagel logo. I was like, okay, stripes are very like New York for like the awning. I was thinking like the black and
Yes.
white awnings. I knew my color would be baby blue, but like yeah, 15 drawings later and 40 days later, I birthed the Bananas Bagels and changed the brand, and I'm so glad I did.
Me too, honestly.
Yeah, me too. Like I think,
As I've enjoyed lots of bagels and
right?
coffee from you, very
Yes.
grateful.
Yeah, so I'm grateful. Like it really wasn't the plan, but I was like, I don't even know how to make a bagel. Like, how do I do that? So now I was like,
Yeah.
YOLO, I've been cooking my whole life. We could just figure out how to be a pastry chef overnight, I guess. And so I just hopped in gear mode. Luckily, it was like May through July. So all of the big trade shows are going on, between New York, Chicago, National Restaurant Association. So it was actually prime time to like make all these rapid decisions because the biggest trade shows. So I knew that like if I book New York, if I book Chicago, I can plan this whole brand within 8 business days between the two shows.
Crazy.
Yes, because to have to like be on the phone and call DoorDash and do all these things, like you go to these trade shows, you set up appointments, and you just get it done. You get all your distributors, and you figure it out. So yeah, sorry, I went way over 2 minutes on that, but it's kind of a complicated story. So sorry, it's gonna be a long reel. It's gonna be a portion reel with a YouTube. Um,
I'm just so interested, so I'm just listening.
yeah, it's just like there's so much that's like come up to this point. It's just so funny that I'm like, wow, this is like crazy. Like bananas bagels, it just was an idea. And there's good coffee trailers, but I don't know if I would have like done as not saying it wouldn't do well. I know it would do well because I have good coffee, but I don't know if I would have like gotten so much on the map as a trailer in just a year
Yeah.
and a half had I just done coffee, not coffee
So now
bagels.
you have the bagels and the coffee,
Yeah,
bananas, bagels,
yeah,
and you're like, I gotta learn how to make bagels.
yeah. Yes.
And you just won in the Sarasota magazine or SRQ magazine for best bagels in Sarasota.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's crazy. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
And
Thanks to everybody, honestly. My little fans.
and but you sell New York bagels.
Right.
So we're in Florida.
Yeah.
How do you make New York bagels in Florida?
In Florida. That's always like the mystery question, right? It comes to, I always say like blessed hands. Like I honest to God, even now I pray every day. I'm a cook. I'm a chef at heart. Like I like every day I'm like, God, pastry chefs do not get enough credit, guys. Like that cookie, you have no idea. You have to measure like to the T. I'm just a little this, little that. Don't follow recipes, hate recipes. Don't give me one. Just give me an ingredient list. And like I feel like now even too like I've looked at so many recipes. I'm like that's gonna taste terrible because no chef's gonna give you the real recipe in a cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
But this is such a true tea. So yeah, what do you do? Well, I started making some bagels and realized they're just so small. Like you can't have an airbag without New York. So there's a lot of chlorine in Florida water.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do reverse osmosis. But a lot of times when people reverse osmosis the water, then they pull out all the good minerals that you need to get that proof. Right? That
Mm.
doesn't people always say, oh, New York pizza is not the same as it is in Florida. So you just have to do reverse osmosis, and you got to do it right. So there are systems which are nice at like the commissary that already filter the water and get you that New York water
Yeah.
correctly, right? So that way you can get that proof density. It also comes down to ovens too. Like when you're product testing at your house, like you think your oven's hot, but it's like patchy, like left or right or top shelf, bottom shelf. It gets burned. It's lower, so there's a lot to kind of go around that. So a gas commercial oven does
Mm.
really really well. Sometimes, but really it's that brick oven, that pizza oven, and having the bricks, but like your wood blocks, you start from scratch. Well, my wood blocks weren't seasoned, so seasoning a lot and doing a lot of testing those first few months to season those bricks and be able to make that happen, and doing a pizza oven and having the right temperature and the right equipment and having the right commercial mixers, and there's just so much to that art. But the biggest thing is being hand rolled and kettle boiled. You can't just hand roll a bagel and put it in the oven. That's not considered like a New York style bagel.
Mm.
It's not that you can't, it's just that when you do that boiling factor and you kettle boil it, it helps that proofing so that way when you actually bake it, you're getting that rise that that you need.
Got it.
Yeah, so that water is key and using certain elements, everybody's water is different. The kettle boil, like Canadians do like a molasses kettle boil. So their bagels are a little sweet, so it's a little different. Ours are a little,
Oh, that is
more
so
salty in the States.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's just, that's what makes it different in having those water systems implemented, here. And a lot of pizza shops and bagel shops do have the New York water system implemented in their
Oh,
locations.
that's cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I had no idea that there was like the different waters.
yeah, there is, and a lot of people will get caught up and say, "Oh, it's not the water," and it's not always the water, but it is the water in a sense. But when you pull out those minerals incorrectly, it's what affects, you know, the rise of the dough, and it affects a lot of different elements because we just have so much chlorine. Like our pH levels in our waters in Florida are insane.
Yeah.
Most people don't, always know that. So
Wow, interesting.
yeah,
And then do you have like a favorite? That's just like a side question.
yeah,
Do you have like a favorite bagel that you have like created that you like really like to make, or just one
yeah,
that's been like super popular?
super popular. Yeah, I would say I love our egg bagels. I'm gonna kind of go like off cut. So the egg bagels and then the egg everything.
Oh,
It's like our silent killer.
those are so good.
And you'll see me trickle them in here and there. Because sometimes people are like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Is it eggy? I'm like, no, it's just so much more fluffier. So I love that. And I love our Asiago. I mean, that's definitely like a top seller for us. A lot of cheese. Sometimes I go a little crazy with the Asiago cheese. So some days they look so cheesy. But I would say that. And then like for schmears, I get so surprised. I tell people what's crazy is like I'll tell them I want to go to the prep kitchen and stuff, and I was like, I had no basis for this. I know how to make a cream cheese. Like, yeah, you buy cream cheese. What do you think, Philadelphia? No, Philadelphia is terrible. It's watery.
Yeah.
Like nothing is worse when you like bite into it, just like smears everywhere. So like finding the right type of cream cheese that like didn't have so much of a water ratio, but then it's interesting.
Mm,
I've come to find out, like, New York is so whippy.
yeah.
I like to learn their like new secret sauce. It's like they put a little bit of seltzer water. I don't, but they put seltzer water, and instead of the hand mixture, they do a hand mix a lot of times, and that's what
Oh,
makes it like really smooth and like fluffy. So everyone does it different. I do. I like love the KitchenAid maker, and I want it blended evenly. But yeah, I sometimes just get surprised how things work,
yeah.
or like a lot of times it's hard to test. So like you'll make the cream cheese, like you make the schmear, you're like, yeah, it tastes good. But schmears marinate like food. So a lot of times, like when I'm starting a new schmear, like some people know, like Bronson, some of my regulars, I'm like, can you test this out? Like I'll do like these little test batches, and people that like are coming frequently that have tried different things, like, right, it needs more of this, or like, is it too sweet, or however. But it's really not better until the next day, and that's when I really know like how to adjust the recipe.
I remember you did that with your pepperoni pizza smear.
Pepperoni pizza, that was a surprise.
That one, she was like, I don't know, and I would taste it, and I was like, no notes.
I really just dreamed about it.
I was like, that is so good.
Yeah.
But then the more I had it, I was like, oh, it got better every time I had it.
It does, yeah. Like I like do a lot of tweaks because again, like I've only been doing this a year and a half, and so like I always love like the feedback and honesty, and I think it did get better. Like I'm like, well, I use Parmesan, well, I could use Pecorino Romano. Like the bougie side of me is like, I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and get better cheese, and then instead of like buying it already shaped, I'm gonna hand grate it, and I'm gonna choose a certain type of hand grate I have at the house, or like I'm gonna choose the pepperoni that has a little bit more bite to it, So like
Yeah.
I'll kind of like tweak a little bit, or like fresh dried oregano, not bottled oregano.
Mm,
So there are a lot of times that like the nice part about being a small scale is that I can use higher quality local ingredients because I'm small, I'm batching small, I'm not cooking schmears and prepping for 500 people. None of
yeah.
my stuff's from Cisco. None of my stuff's from US Food. All my stuff is specialty sourced. Everything comes from New York. I use a lot of like New York local purveyors, and all the herbs I use local farmers, or get microgreens from locally, or get a lot of herbs at Detweiler's and try to support not only is my business local, but I do the best I can to support locally and even the foods that I'm serving inside the truck.
Yeah, you can really taste that with
Yeah,
like every bagel, every cream, every smear,
yeah,
every coffee. Like it's all just you can taste
appreciate
it,
that.
and it's that better quality too.
Yeah, it's like when I run out, I'm like literally out and I have to wait to like go order it to be shipped. It's like not, I don't have a lot of substitutes, which gets stressful because I'm like, I just can't walk in the store and go find something else. I mean, time for the cream cheese, but not for the bagels.
Right.
So luckily, like the years of experience, people are like, you make it look so easy. How do you always know your counts? I'm like, I just like know from forecasting, but I also know how to understand my business and how to forecast through Square where I can look week by week. I can look items. That's why numbers and buttons and stuff and like even when you cashier is so important. That way you have true historical data when it comes to planning and like what I like there's a lot of times I'll make stuff and I'm like, they're not even gonna like that. I'm like, my God, I sold so many of those today.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Full of surprises.
Yes.
And with that, my final question for you
Uh-huh.
is just a fun little question of
Okay.
what's your favorite part about owning your food truck?
Favorite part? I would say like meeting local people such as yourself and bonding new friends. I would say like the hardest part being like an entrepreneur and like I've been working remote in my career the past honestly I haven't had an office since like 2017. So what is that? 8 to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I
Nine
mean 9
years.
years, right? Sorry, I'm definitely finger counter. Don't judge. Okay. Math is not my strong suit. Um is like just getting to know people and then having the social aspect because I don't have coworkers, right? I'm like a
Yeah.
woman show. So I think that's what I love the most. And just making people happy with food, like making it like memorable. And I like love it because I'm like, they're gonna like it. Like I love when people judge me, they're like, I'll be the test if this is good. Especially the New Yorkers. They go hard on me, but I'm like, I love it. I'm like, I know you're gonna like it. And I think just like having that good product, but making people happy and giving them a lasting memory and just creating a safe space. I look at my customers like my friends, and I have developed a lot of friendships out of it. And I think that's like my most like favorite part.
Oh, I love that. You
Uh,
definitely create happy moments, and I told you this before, and I'll say it again.
yeah,
I remember my first time going to you. This was just like back in October, like end of
yeah,
October,
that's right.
and I got there my first time. And you had this long line at the
That day
farmers
was
market. There
crazy,
was like five moms with like 100 kids,
literally.
and I was just like, I just want my coffee. And you were just so patient and so happy and friendly, and like
Yeah.
I would have been crying. I would have been stressed.
I'm not gonna lie, that day Loki was crying in my soul because literally my my farmers market friend was like, "Girl," and I was like, "Bro, did no one give me a warning that every like mom today was coming to my food truck?" So grateful, seriously. That day, thank you if you're watching this. Like, was so grateful. But I'm looking around, realizing I'm getting annihilated. Like, well, can like they go to the other coffee stand because like I felt bad they were waiting so long, and then I realized no one had a line but me, and I was like, you know what, we're in it to win it. So I had to like put a happy face. I mean, a lot of times I can be stressed in there. I'm a one woman show. I have and I love the hype for you guys. Like I love that you guys are so hyped. Like on a weekend or on Wednesday, it's not just like a coffee and bagel. It's like 5 coffees, 5 bagels. So there may be like 4 people in line, but I already have 20 items.
Hmm.
And but I was a patient. I was so glad to meet you, and I'm so glad that you had a good experience.
Oh yeah, it made
Yeah,
me like want to it made me want to come back. Like even
yeah,
if I got the coffee and I was like, oh, this is not good. Like I still wanted to come back
yeah.
because I was like, which it didn't taste bad. Have to clarify,
It was good.
but like I was like, I gotta support this woman, and I was just so impressed. Like I'm like, she's in there by herself. She's got this long line. I'm like, my God, and she's just got this like smile. Like she's just happy to be there. I'm
Yeah,
like, you know what? Let's go support this woman.
I love that. I love it for me, and I appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for like, yeah, long lines. Some days are tough, and they can have people swaying. I just have to be honest. Like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, they're just hype for me. I don't know. I guess like bagels are like the gold mine. I don't know. And I am appreciative because it is hard to have a line, and some days it can be you always know by the air, like how the first few, and like what a lot of people don't realize is like when I go to the farmers market, I have the market before the market. So I feed all the vendors
Mm-hmm.
so I can fuel their day. And then I have my market. So like a lot of times I've already been open an hour and a half by the time people roll in at 9 a.m. You know. So yeah, by 11 o'clock, we're in it deep. But yeah, I just try to have a happy showing because coffee creates happiness, and sometimes it's the only happiness. As I know, working corporate America, that cup of coffee will make or break my whole day, and so I just
Mm-hmm.
always try to make sure that it's there. Like, hey, it looks like you need like a third shot today. Just gonna pour a little extra in there, but yeah.
Yeah, and again, just to wrap it all up, I wanted you to be my first
Thank you
Talkin'
so much.
Tuesday.
This is
I've
awesome.
never done anything like this, and I was like, there's the first person I have to do this with.
Oh,
It's gonna be Monique.
well, I appreciate that.
You've given me the Big Star Latte, and we started all the collabs,
Yes.
and so just super grateful for you,
Oh, thank
and
you.
grateful for the coffee truck and your
Yes.
friend that gave you Bonanno's Bagels idea,
Yes, me too.
and grateful for it all. So
Oh,
thank you.
well, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for kicking off the whole collab season. And we'll see you guys for whoever's next for the next Talking Tuesday.
Toodles, everyone.
Bye. That was so fun. That was really